Hello crafties. Welcome to the fourth part of my Simple Shrug knit along. My name is Infiniti. If you guys don't know, I am the face and the voice behind all the tutorials and videos on this channel. If this is your first time, consider subscribing and hitting that little bell so that you never miss out on future weekly content. So a little update for you guys. It's the 17th. I actually updated on time. Woohoo! What we're going to be doing today is basically casting off. We are going to be sewing up our sleeves. We're going to connect our sleeves. So this part of the knit along is going to actually be a little longer and a little more bulky as far as content goes. But we'll be finishing off our sweater, and it's going to be just in time, like I said, for my portfolio review. A bunch of cool fun things. So like, first of all, sitting down recording this video, I'm like, oh, I forgot about some t-shirts that I designed. I need to pop those into Illustrator. I know it's totally unrelated, but it is very related at the same time. I can't say much about it right now, but I really look forward to releasing those designs maybe around January. January sounds really good to me right now. Also, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna jump into the tutorial. Oh, no, that just reminded me. So, if any of you guys follow me here on YouTube, first of all, thank you so much. If not, you know, consider subscribing to your girl. I love churning out this content for you guys. Kind of helps me practice my art education degree. Still can't believe that. Those words are words that can come out of my mouth now. It's really, really strange. I'm looking at my screen here. I have a coffee page. I also have a cup of coffee because adults drink coffee in the evening time. So, oh, dark roast. Anyway, so I have a coffee page, and for those of you who don't know about coffee, coffee is a support page. It's similar to Patreon in that you can support projects from your favorite creators and things like that via donation. It's linked through PayPal. It makes it super easy and all that. Well, I like to use the blog section for my coffee page, and I have recently started adding my free patterns to my coffee page. So what that means is basically, you know, I do still have all of my patterns up for sale in my Etsy shop. If any of you guys want to check those out, that'd be great for me. I'd surely appreciate that. But for the ones that were initially free, I now have a way to for sure have them free. And it also drives traffic to my blog, which I want to actually get kind of out there. Again, I'm still working on my website. It's been, I think it said it's been a year. It's been a minute. But nonetheless, it's a work in progress until I can actually get it up and going, which I'm super excited for because it looks like, you know, January-ish, February-ish might be my time for that. Don't know. But okay, now enough of that updatey stuff. I'm going to actually jump into the video. I'm going to start off by showing you guys how to cast off. Then we are going to seam up the sides over in the floor space, and then we are also going to start adding on the sleeves. Now, because this is knitted, I'm going to say the sleeves, we can do those maybe detached, or maybe attach them with a crochet hook. I think I'll probably actually end up crocheting my sleeves and my border for this bad boy just because it'll save me time, and I don't think you guys want a part 5 to this knit along. So without further ado, gonna jump in. I'm gonna stop being awkward. Alright crafties, so last time we left off, I said to do an additional 10 to 20 rows, you know, to your liking, and we did that. So what we're going to do now is cast off this piece of fabric. Look at how colorful and vibrant this is. You know, I'm really excited for this outfit. When I went to the workshop for our portfolio prep thing, they're like, we allow costuming and stuff. People make their own clothes and stuff all the time. We let you guys do that. Awesome. Right up my alley. Which I knew it anyway. You can't stifle our creativity like that. So this is gonna be a heck of a review. I really look forward to that, and I already know that people are gonna like be drawn to me because I'm gonna be the one in there full of color, but you know, I just have to be that person. So we're gonna cast off. If you don't know how to cast off, I do have a couple of different knitting tutorials back on the channel that definitely go over casting off stitches. Had to drink that coffee. Oh, gotta get it while it's hot. Okay, so what we're gonna do is actually just knit two. I don't really remember what I did. I'm sorry. I feel like I was purling. I don't know. It's been a minute. I put my knitting down for a few days, possibly even a week. Whew, don't know. Anyway, we're gonna knit two. We're just gonna start off knitting. So whatever row you finished on, you're gonna knit. So I'm going to insert my needle from the back and go ahead and knit one. And I'm gonna go ahead and do that again. Alright, so once you knit two, you can then take your working needle, your non-working needle, put it in that first loop, and we're just gonna slide off that one stitch just like that. And that is our first stitch cast off. Now let me try to zoom in, try to be a little extra helpful. So I'm gonna knit another one, of course. Gonna knit that other one. Alright, now I'm gonna insert this non-dominant, non-working needle into that first loop on my other needle, on my working needle. And I'm just gonna slowly slide this loop to the end until I can pull it through and just glide that other loop off of my non-working needle. So as you can see, I am slowly but surely getting all of these stitches off of here. So I'm going to continue to cast off along the length of this fabric. It used to be weird to me calling my crochet and stuff fabric, but if you think about it, it actually is. Also reminds me that one of my friends might have accidentally, purposely told one of my professors about my YouTube channel, and I was actually kind of happy, but I was also freaking out because I'm painfully shy about things like that. And so like if there's one person that knows exactly what I'm wearing, it would be that teacher. But there's no stopping this train now. But alright, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to finish casting off, and you guys can finish casting off, and I'll meet you back when I am free. Okay guys, hey, welcome to the floor space. We are ready to get sewing. So what I have here is my extra wide piece of fabric, and I pinned down the corners. So literally what I did, I laid it out and then I folded it down, and I have the corners meeting up, and I put little stitch markers on there so that, you know, you can see where the armholes are supposed to be. So this is where those little two stitches of knitting are really going to come into handy. I think they're called selled stitches or whatever. But anyhow, we're going to sew them up. So you have to have tried this on by now. And if you have, cool. If you haven't, you should really do that. And what I did, I cut a really long piece of tail when I finished off, when I cast off, so that I can go back and sew however much I needed to sew. And all we're going to be doing here is sewing up like the side of the sleeve, and I'll show you guys in just a second. So I'm going to reach over here and grab my darning needle. And I'm just going to thread it. Alright. And so now what I can do, let me kind of move that to the back. Now what we can do, I like to turn my things inside out because I like to seam them. So when you turn it inside out, is it inside out? Yeah, inside out. What you want to start doing, you can remove your stitch marker if it's a little hard to see, but what you want to start doing is basically, let me see if I can clear that up for you guys. What you want to start doing is just taking it, and you want to be like within those 2 stitches that you knit for each row, and you just want to start seaming it. So sewing back and forth, not the whip stitch. I forget what it's called. Goodness, I'm not a seamstress, guys. And we're gonna eventually sew this guy in too, because he's gonna get annoying. But we're basically just gonna go from side to side. I think I'm gonna go up maybe up to here. No? About here. I think that's good. Because this thing is actually going to be closer to a kimono, I think, than an actual, like, cardigan. And that's okay. Because I wanted it to be bigger. I wanted it to be bigger so it fit very loosely on me. Because this crazy weather, it doesn't know if it wants to be fall or summer. And I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of it. That I don't want anything extra warm and clingy. You know? So we're just going to go about sewing. And we're going to do this for the other side too. So again, this is why trying things on is really important. As you know, how much space you'd like for your arms or wrists. Because this actually goes out like my entire span. If you wanted to shrink this, I think this is a fiber that you can shrink. It's acrylic, 100% acrylic. So if you wanted to throw it in the wash, it is synthetic, so it can shrink. Oh, looks like I did come up to that little pink line. Okay, and I'm going to say this is like 4 to 5 inches. 4 to 5 inches. I don't have my tape measure on me right now. I know, I should be ashamed of myself. And I'm going to come back over this later with some fray check, just because I'm a little bit paranoid about my stitches and my seams and stuff coming apart on me. You know, I'm not good with malfunctions on my outfits, so you know. Alright, and again, I'm going to come back to it, so I'm going to snip enough of it, like leave enough of it there, to where I'm like, oh yeah, I need to go back and fix my mistakes. Okay, and I'm going to do that for the other side, and I'll meet y'all back when I get done. Okay guys, so that was quick, that was easy. I got both sides seamed up. Alternatively, you could have used a crochet hook and kind of slip stitched this stuff together. I felt like sewing. Like I said, I'm going to go back later and fray check this, and it's just like fabric glue, so it'll tack it down and it's washable. So now what I'm going to do is actually turn this on the right side, and I've tried it on and I like how it fits. It's very snuggly. I love it. We are not done. We are not done just yet. So what we want to do is actually kind of round this off so that, you know, it fits like an actual sweater thing. Sweater thing is our official terminology. So for this part of the tutorial, you're going to actually want a little crochet know-how. I am going to put the link to the stitch tutorial that I'm going to use at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. So I have a 6mm crochet hook for this yarn. I thought it would be good. My tension may or may not be excessive. So what I want to do is just find a convenient spot, and you might find that a convenient spot would be like right along this seam, you know, at least for this first row, and just insert your hook there. And you're going to want to connect your yarn. Okay, and once we connect our yarn, just going to chain one to secure it. And we're going to go right under like this casting. I think this is my casting on. So we're going to go like right underneath this casting on, and we're just going to single crochet, and I want to weave in my tail as I go so I don't have to go back in later and sew that in. And we're just going to go along each stitch and single crochet all the way around until we get back to the beginning of this project. Okay, so I had a little tripod drama. Not going to talk about it too much, but I am going to come back around here, and I finished off my row of single crochets, and I joined together with that first single crochet with a slip stitch, and I'm going to rip this back just a little bit so you guys can see what I did, because you know I was working stuff out. I was working stuff out. So I'm going to come back all the way back here where I joined with the slip stitch to that first single crochet. I'm going to grab my crochet hook here. Just make sure I'm not pulling out too many stitches. There we go. Here we go. So, like I said, this thing is going to be kind of like a kimono style shrug, which is so cool. So anyway, what I'm going to do now is kind of lay my shrug out so that I'm just looking at the one sleeve, just the one sleeve. And from here, I am going to fold together both of the sides, lining up those single crochets with one another, just like that, like that. And what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do any chaining or anything. I'm just going to go right into this next set of single crochets. Maybe I should zoom in just a little bit for you guys to see that with, zoom in. Zooming in. Forward, backward, to the side maybe. Okay, so I'm going to put my hook right here, and I'm going to go through both sides so that I'm catching both these single crochets, and I'm going to join it with a slip stitch. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that in the next 35 to 40 stitches. That depends on how wide you want the opening for your body to be. So I'm going to do that on camera so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. and 35. So this is my 35th slip stitch, and I have essentially seamed together this sleeve from the bottom side. So at this point it would be up to you to try your garment on and decide whether or not this is enough slip stitches for you inward. We're also going to do this same technique on the other side, but like I said, first you're going to want to make sure that your stitches are adequate. So I'm going to pause and I'm going to flip over and we're going to start on the other side. Okay guys, so before we move on to the other side, like I said, you would have wanted to try your piece on, make sure that you had enough slip stitches. I am perfectly satisfied with 35. So what I'm going to do is chain 1, pull up my yarn, and I'm going to grab my handy little case over here, and I'm just going to snip it off so I can sew it in later. Alright, and now I finally get to flip this piece. So again, we're down here at the very edge. We're down here at the very edge of the sleeve. Now on this other side, when I was doing the slip stitching, I didn't do it on the inside just because, I mean, you know, it wouldn't have been as obvious as it would have with the actually like sewing it together like we did earlier. So what I want to do is find that seam, so or right here, and I'm going to come down here to the very bottom and I'm going to fold it in half and insert my hook between two adjacent stitches, just like this, and I'm going to connect some yarn. So I'm going to grab my little tail here, I'm going to grab my little tail here and get my life together. Oh my goodness. Okay, and I'm just going to join my yarn. Now you can use a longer tail if you want to. I'm not knocking it, but I didn't want to. So I'm also going to chain 1 just to secure it. And from this point on, I'm just going to be slip stitching in those adjacent stitches, and I can come back later and sew in these tails. So there's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 'So let me know down in the comments below if you'd like a written version of this knit along. I'll be more than glad to sit up and type up a knitted version of this pattern. This is something I kind of came up with on the spot, and so I'm not going off of any written pattern, it's just my brain. so now that I have my 35 on this side, I'm just going to do a quick recount, and then we can start moving on with the rest of our lives. So coming back here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Miscount. Woo! Okay, so I'm going to go back into the 35th one. So once you have whatever amount of stitches you need, what you're going to do is single crochet to fasten off, and I'll meet you guys back around when I get done with that part. Okay, so I fastened off, or did I? I did not. I chained 1 to fasten off. I've yet to snip my yarn, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just snip, and gonna tug on them just to make sure he's secure. And again, we're gonna come back to these strings and prospectively weave them in as we go along. So whichever side you want to start on is fine. I'm gonna come back to my original side, and I see where I fastened off earlier on this side, and what I want to do is just come back a couple stitches. So maybe 1, 2, 3 stitches, and insert my hook. And I'm going to zoom in because we're going to want to be able to see what Infiniti's doing. Alright, so I went 3 stitches behind, or before I get to my seam here, and I'm going to connect my yarn. Mind you, I'm going to need more yarn, but it's like right here, right next to my shelf. Right by me, essentially. So okay, connecting the yarn, and gonna chain up 2 with our working yarn, if I can ever get it together. 1, 2. Okay, so what we're going to be doing now is half double crochet. So again, if you guys don't know anything about crochet, please go back to my channel. I have an awesome tutorial on how to get started with it way back there. I'll probably, like I said, link it at the end of this video. So I'm going to yarn over. No, I'm supposed to be, whatever. Okay, yarning over. I'm going to insert my hook into that same stitch and just create a half double crochet. And I'm going to half double crochet in each stitch around my piece. And a helpful kind of pro crochet tip, you can also weave these ends in as you're going along. So I'm going to be holding my tail in along with my piece while I am half double crocheting, and I'll meet you guys back around when I have completed this row. Okay, so I'm back here, guys. I did my full row of half double crochets, and I've already chained up 2 because we're going to continue to do something with double crochets. So if you remember a while back here, I did a tutorial on the camel stitch, aka half double crocheting in the 3rd loop. So again, I'm going to put that video up at the end so you guys can watch that in a more neutral color. So we're not going to be working through both of these loops like the little V that we normally work into. We're going to be working into this guy, this bar right here. So you would yarn over as normal and come down here, get your hook under that bar. So once you get under that bar, you're just gonna half double crochet. If I can stop dropping my stitches. can do that again, and it should get easier as you go along. So I'm just going to pull up, I'm going to start pulling my bars up before I go into them. And what that's going to do as you go along, it's going to push those little V's forward, and it's going to give you this knitted look, even though, you know, you and I know that it's crocheted. For those who don't knit, they're just going to assume that you knit the whole thing anyway, because that's what people mainly like to call any kind of garment, like, oh, you knit. Like, yeah, okay. I had to get up so early to finish this part of the tutorial, so I'm halfway quiet, and I just finished my morning coffee, so, you know, still shaking off the grogginess, but it's all good. So yeah, and like I said, those little V's are being pushed forward here. I don't know if you guys are, is it focused? Yeah. They're being pushed forward, and so as we do more and more rows of these, the more that look will come forward. So I'm gonna say maybe do 8 to 10 rows of half double crochet in the third loop. I should really just call it the camel stitch. It's less of a mouthful. We're gonna do 8 to 10 of those rows, and then we're gonna fasten off, and we're gonna be done, and it's gonna be great. So I went around my shrug 8 times. So I have 8 rows of this camel stitch going around the border of my cardigan, and I am absolutely in love with this colorway. I am excited. Now mine is meant to be open. However, if you would have like let this, like sewn the sleeves together a little less, or brought out the collar a little bit more, you could even put buttons on it, but mine isn't for that. So yeah, I'm here to conclude the end of this knit along slash crochet along. I guess it was mostly a knit along, so I'm concluding this knit along. It's been a long time coming. Super glad I was able to finish this outfit in time for my special day, my super special day. Is there anything else I wanted to say? Yes. So I also made the skirt. If you guys remember, I have to find a blouse for it and all that. But the skirt, I'm about to go put the elastic in it, and it's going to be perfect. And I'll probably leave a picture of the whole thing at the end of the video. I also want you guys to let me know if you want the written pattern for this whole thing, because I can go back from the videos, write it all down, and put it in a super convenient spot over my coffee blog. If anybody's interested, just let me know, social media or here on the channel in general. And until next time, till next tutorial, happy making.